It was in this building here in Muscle Shoals on Avalon Avenue where a lot of recordings have been made, and Rick Hall was the founder of Muscle Shoals Music, and this is Fame Recording Studios where it all started. So the Muscle Shoals sound was very popular back in the 1950s and 60s, and it is what defined the northern part of Alabama. So here we are in the Shoals district of Northwest Alabama. Let's get it. P9 back at it once again. It's been a minute, but I'm back at it, and I am here in Tuscumbia, Alabama. Tuscumbia is the county seat of Colbert County with a population of just over 9,000, and it is part of the Shoals metropolitan area, which composes of the principal cities of Florence and Muscle Shoals, along with Tuscumbia and Sheffield. So I'm in the greater Shoals metro area, which will be a vlog, which I will do with Tuscumbia, Sheffield, and Muscle Shoals. And Florence will be a separate video. But here I stand right in front of Tuscumbia City Hall, as you can see. So across the street, just a building with a series of shops. There's a barber shop over there. It looks like that might be like where the iron balconies, looks like that might be like a apartment building. And you got some shops over here as well. They have a seed and supply company right over here. So you can come over here and get your plants. If you're a gardener, this will be a good shop to come visit. Look, they even got the Alabama Crimson Tide. Roll Tide. They came off that impressive victory against the Georgia Bulldogs last week. So shout out to the Crimson Tide. But before I proceed, I want to take the time out to extend my condolences, thoughts, and prayers to everyone who was affected by Hurricane Helen that affected a lot of the southeastern portion of the U.S. You know, so those that have lost their homes and have lost loved ones, I definitely extend my sincere condolences to you and your family. I know it's a very tough time and a long road to recovery. Some people just lost it all, and it's just unfortunate. So to all the people out in Valdosta, Georgia in general, Asheville, North Carolina, the Western Carolinas, South Carolina, Tennessee, the parts of Tennessee that was affected, to all those individuals out there, I wish you nothing but my thoughts and prayers. But yes, this is Tuscumbia, Alabama. So it definitely has that small town vibe as you would generally see in a small town. And there's a little history of Tuscumbia, Alabama right here on this marker. During the antebellum period, Tuscumbia thrived with commerce aided by its agrarian base and the incorporation of the Tuscumbia Railroad Company, the first railroad west of the Appalachian Mountains. The railroad connected the town with its steamboat landing on the Tennessee River. Later, it was extended through Cortland to Decatur. Several large bands of Cherokees and Creeks passed through the Tuscumbia on the Trail of Tears during the Indian removal in the late 1830s. During the Civil War, the town was occupied several times by Union troops, with sharp skirmishes being fought. In 1867, Colbert County was formed from the northern half of Franklin County and was named for prominent Chickasaw leaders George and Levi Colbert. Tuscumbia became the county seat. Helen Keller, the internationally known blind and deaf humanitarian, was born here in 1880 at Ivy Green. Tuscumbia is one of the Alabama's oldest towns, with more than 100 antebellum commercial buildings, churches, and homes. And this is the Tuscumbia Historic District, which is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. So a lot of history, especially pre-Civil War history, aka antebellum, right here in Tuscumbia. And for those that aren't aware of Helen Keller, some of you might be, some of you history buffs might be familiar with her, but she was born right here in Tuscumbia. She was born in a property called the Ivy Green, so it's like basically a historical site and museum right here in Tuscumbia. Probably go check that out as well. But right now I'm on 6th Street, which is the main drag through downtown Tuscumbia. Oh, this is interesting. I like this little design right here. So I guess it's supposed to be like a little alleyway or something. Huh. Has a mirror right here. They have these vines hanging off right over here. Not quite sure what the functionality of this alley is, but it's pretty neat, I guess. I'm on Main Street now. Jacob's General Store. Okay. Established in 2022. So business has been established for 2 years now. Some old, extremely old brick buildings. So you can tell it's one of those old pre-Civil War / Civil War towns. Superhero chefs. Voted top 12 breakfasts made in America by the Cooking Channel. Okay, so this place is a pretty big deal. Featured on Cooking Channel, Travel Channel, Food Network, Rachel Ray. They even got the nice decorations in the front. They got the scarecrows in preparation for Halloween. Skeleton right there. So this is pretty cool. It's like a pretty nice little sleepy town. Liquor store right across the street, Downtown Liquor. I guess this is the emergency building for Colbert County. Check this area out over here. It looks like this used to be a railroad station. Looks like used to be the Tuscumbia Railroad Depot. You can see the trains right here. And this looks like is this a trolley? It's like a trolley car right here. So the city of Tuscumbia once had a trolley car? I would have never guessed. But you can see the building right here for the Union Depot for Tuscumbia. Yeah, this is fresh right here. Okay, okay. Memphis and Charleston. So I guess this is the Memphis and Charleston line. The cars for the Memphis and Charleston line that ran through Tuscumbia, and that's the caboose right here. And these are freight cars back here. And Tuscumbia once had its own railway company. All right. The U.S. Marine Corps. So I guess these are freight cars for different military branches. I guess that's what I'm getting from it. You got the U.S. Army right here. Pretty cool history right here at Tuscumbia. So like it was one of those railroad towns, one of those railroad stops along the Memphis and Charleston line. See that white building across the street is the Colbert County Courthouse. And remember, Tuscumbia is the county seat of Colbert County, so generally the county courthouse is located in the county seat. So that's what we have right here. Has a little bell tower at the top. You also got a couple of churches over here. They have the First Baptist Church and First Methodist Church over here at the corner of 4th and Main Street. I'm gonna go ahead and cut across the street over to the grounds of this courthouse. See what they talking about over here. Okay. It's a statue right here, just tributing to the Confederate soldiers of Colbert County. Okay. They have like a nice little visual out here, candlelight visual out in the front in honor of Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So they just have a bunch of, I would think, a lot of just crosses and things of that nature. What looks like victims of domestic violence. They have the pictures right up here. So RIP to all of these individuals who were victims of domestic violence. So if you are in a situation, I just want to put this out there before I proceed. If you're in a situation where you're in a relationship where there's DV involved, definitely reach out to someone and try to get yourself out of that situation as swiftly as possible before it escalates into something really tragic. So I just want to put that PSA out there. P9 Travel Vlogs definitely cares. And this is a nice little setup over here as well. It's another one of those memorials as usual that commemorates all the different soldiers and that served in a multitude of wars. Vietnam, Korea, World War I, World War II, so on and so forth. And you have right here a statue of the United States Senator at that time, Howell Heflin. So Howell Heflin served as a Chief Justice of the Alabama Supreme Court from 1971 to 1977. He was also a member, or he served as a Marine Corps officer during World War II. So he got the rank of a major and awarded the Silver Star and Purple Heart. So there is a marker just commemorating Howell Heflin, former senator from Alabama. It goes at First Methodist Church, and it's also a building right here. It has a North Alabama Abstract and Guarantee. So a lot of historical buildings over here in this section of Tuscumbia. I'm gonna take my last little stroll down Main Street before we head to the next part of Tuscumbia, which you definitely want to stay tuned for, because it's going to be a nice park right here in the city. Wow, this is a real sleepy town. I only seen maybe a handful of people out since I've been here. It's a Wednesday afternoon in early October, so I guess I wonder how it is on the weekend out here. Sometimes when I come to these sleepy towns, I always wonder what it will be like as far as the amount of people hanging out on the weekends. But that'll do it for downtown Tuscumbia, and I'll be back shortly with more footage. Here I am at Tuscumbia Spring Park, and this is going to be a nice park to walk through, and it's going to take a stroll. And before I go, let me just get this stone right here, dedicated to Harvey and Joyce Ann Robbins, who lived in Tuscumbia during their childhood years, for their unselfish contribution now to the revitalization of downtown Tuscumbia and Spring Park beginning in April 26, 2001. Okay, so this park was established in 2001 thanks to contributions to Harvey and Joyce Ann Roberts. So this is part of a revitalization effort. So that's pretty neat. 2001, that was 23 years ago. So not too old of a park. So this is a petrified conifer tree, which is 85 to 90 million years old. And this one over here, I want to mention this one. This one is the petrified lycopod tree stump, which is 325 million years old. So donated by Sam Bates and his daughter Leslie, shout out to them. These are found in Colbert County. And this conifer tree right here was donated by the Keaton family, Neil and Debbie Keaton, so shout out to them as well. It's cool that these individuals make donations and contributions to these parks so that people like myself and you know, local residents and or just people visiting can come and just enjoy the beauty and nature of these parks. So that's nice to know that you have people that'll make those contributions. And this one right here, Coldwater Falls, world's largest man-made natural stone waterfall to be known in existence, at 80 feet wide, 48 feet tall, 1780 tons of Colbert County sandstone, 4.3 million gallons of water per day passes over falls. Largest stone weighs 77,000 pounds and 120 days in construction. And it was designed by Aldwin McGee, constructed by Robbins Property Development. Okay, so there goes what looks like the pond right here. And these are the rocks right here. So I guess the water would flow down these rocks. Okay, but I want to get this sculpture right here. It's called Sacred Tears. It's what looks like one of the Cherokee natives. This is a woman holding her baby in her arms. And again, this is called Sacred Tears by Branko Metaninka. If I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but Branko Metaninka was the sculptor of this particular piece right here. And Tuscumbia, much of the Shoals area, played an integral part in the Trail of Tears within the Tennessee River route and the overland routes. In 1825, the U.S. government formally adopted a removal policy, which was carried out extensively in the 1830s by Presidents Andrew Jackson and Martin Van Buren. The result was particularly overwhelming for the Indians of the Southeast, primarily the Cherokee, Chickasaw, Choctaw, Creek, and Seminole. While some resisted removal by escaping, each tribe suffered numerous hardships, battles, and deaths. So in essence, you know, The Creek Indians began to pass through Tuscumbia on their way west as early as 1827. Generally, the Indians were treated well in Tuscumbia. The newspaper reported that the citizens of Tuscumbia felt sympathy and general admiration for the Cherokees. A Creek chief, Chili McIntosh, described their stay here as, "The citizens of Tuscumbia have treated us like brothers, and our helpless women were furnished by the good women of the town with clothing. As long as our nation remains upon this earth, we will recollect Tuscumbia." And this was November 30th, 1827, when that statement was made. So apparently, yeah, you know, it's as treacherous as that journey was from Alabama all the way to where the Indians were removed to, which was like Kansas, Nebraska, Oklahoma, places like that. It was brutal, but apparently, you know, the local residents of Tuscumbia felt sympathy and basically embraced and, you know, basically made it hospitable for the Native American tribes. So that's pretty dope. That's pretty dope that Tuscumbia has a history of at least embracing the Native tribes. So I'm gonna cross this little bridge right here. Oh wow, they have a restaurant. They have a restaurant right here in the park. That's it right there. There goes the restaurant. And like they got a railroad track that runs through here as well. It's a pretty big park. Let me see. They got a kayak. They got a barbecue joint over there, and also part of that barbecue spot, you could rent kayaks. This building over here. Some barbecue does sound good right about now. Okay, so this is it's a bridge right over here. There's a wooden bridge over across there, but it leads over the river. And this is called this particular bridge right here is called the Clayton Isom Memorial Bridge, which was built in 2021, so it's 3 years old. And here is just a marker with all of the individuals who played a part in the construction of this bridge. And there's also a little like tunnel right there, as you can see, where this railroad track runs underneath. So it's just a railroad that's adjacent to the river, as you can see right over here. So this is pretty cool. I'm gonna make my way back around the park. Check this out. They got the little paddle wheel that they're cleaning up right now. American Indian history right here. Prehistoric hunters and gatherers lived in the area along the Tennessee River and its tributaries, including Spring Creek, more than 10,000 years ago. When early white settlers arrived, the area was occupied by Chickasaws to the west and Cherokees to the east. Other tribes included the Creeks, occasionally hunted or lived briefly in the area. And of course, the Indian Removal Act of the 1830s occurred, where thousands of Native Americans passed through Tuscumbia at the Trail of Tears. The Tuscumbia, the Cortland, and Decatur Railroad transported Indians to Tuscumbia Landing, where they boarded steamboats for removal to the new homes in the Indian Territory, now known as Oklahoma. So, yep, that's what it was. Check this out. This is an Army tank. It's called the M60A3 main battle tank, which was obtained from Fort Rucker, Alabama by American Legion Post 31, April 28, 1999. So it has a 750 horsepower, 12-cylinder, air-cooled diesel engine, and it weighs over 100 tons. And its speed, it ranges 300 miles at a speed of 30 miles per hour. And it's still used by 22 countries to this day after it entered service in 1960. Okay. So it sits right here, of course, in the entrance / exit to Spring Park, which you can see the sign right here. Sitting right over, standing over this flower bed. With that in mind, I'm moving on to the next part of Tuscumbia, so stay tuned for more footage. I'm here on the grounds of Ivy Green, and Ivy Green is the historical house museum and birthplace and childhood home of the beloved political activist, disability rights advocate, and author Helen Keller. So this is the birthplace and childhood home of Helen Keller. So this is the home, the actual house right here, which was built in 1820. And it was actually built, the home itself was built by David Keller, who was Helen Keller's grandfather. So again, there goes the house right there. And there's a memorial fountain and garden over here dedicated to Helen Keller. Now, some of you may have heard of Helen Keller. This is really nice right here. They have a little garden and fountain. And here's a sculpture right here of Helen Keller. Helen Keller was blind and she was deaf. So she had basically overcame being deaf and blind, but she overcame being deaf and blind. As you can see right here, Helen Keller, 1880-1968, a great lady of courage and humanitarian service, presented by Lions of Alabama. Yes, Helen Keller overcame becoming deaf and blind when she learned how to communicate. And she learned how to communicate through Anne Sullivan, who was her teacher. and lifelong companion. She met Anne Sullivan at the age of 7. So she learned how to communicate primarily using signs in the house. And right here, in memoriam of Helen Keller and Anne Sullivan Memorial, this statue erected again by the Lions of Alabama. And this is a statue of Helen Keller and Anne Sullivan, her teacher. And she's basically, again, learning how to communicate. She's using her ability to touch in order to communicate, because she was blind. Now, Helen Keller was she was a humanitarian activist. So she wrote 14 books and hundreds of speeches and essays on topics ranging from animals to Mahatma Gandhi. So she fought for those who suffered from disabilities similar to herself, being blind and deaf. As you can see right here, this is like a sculpture from Japan. That's really cool. Some nice grounds right here. Knights of the Blind building. Oh wow. And this is a sculpture of a lion. And the message on there, it has the challenge: will you not help me hasten the day where there shall be no preventable blindness, no little deaf, blind child untaught, no blind man or woman unaided? I appeal to you, lions who have sight, your hearing, you who are strong and brave and kind. Will you not constitute yourselves knights of the blind in this crusade against darkness? Helen Keller, June 30th, 1925. And this also Braille, which is how blind individuals communicate.
Doesn't say what you are to do.
And again, there goes that lion sculpture. And you have a hand-carved gateway right here by the Maori people. And it looks like they're going to have an event back here behind the Helen Keller home in the backyard. They're setting up right here. You can see. Got the garden in the backyard. But yes, again, Helen Keller was one of those activists who fought for labor rights and world peace and women's suffrage. You know, a lot of these things took place, a lot of these events occurred in the early 1900s. Helen Keller also wrote and published an autobiography called The Story of My Life in 1903. So that was just to basically tell the story of her life and also to inspire those, again, who have similar type of disabilities to follow their dreams and not let that stop them from following their dreams. And her autobiography, The Story of My Life, was adapted. It first started off as a book, and it was adapted into a play called The Miracle Worker. And that play was eventually adapted into a film. So these are really nice grounds. This is a nice property that she grew up on. Right here, just north of downtown Tuscumbia. So shout out to the Keller family who donated and made sure that the particular property was preserved. But yep, there you have it, Ivy Green, right here in Tuscumbia. I'm right outside here at the Alabama Music Hall of Fame. And this is the building for the Alabama Music Hall of Fame. So I'm gonna check this out over here before I go in to the museum and check it out. And this right here is a marker commemorating the Blues Trail, Mississippi to Alabama. Musicians have long crossed the Alabama-Mississippi border to perform and record. Mississippians such as Albert B.B. King, Little Milton, and Pops Staples recorded at studios in Muscle Shoals and Sheffield, including those owned by Mississippi natives Rick Hall and Quinn Ivy, Alabamians Jerry Boogie McCain, Frederick Knight, and Roscoe Robinson, recorded for labels in Jackson, Mississippi, while Florence native W.C. Handy encountered the blues while working in the Mississippi Delta. So if you've seen in my Clarksdale vlog, I did showcase W.C. Handy, but this is to Muscle Shoals, Alabama, which is part of the Alabama to Mississippi or Mississippi to Alabama Blues Trail. And this is the front of the Alabama Music Hall of Fame. So let's go check it out, shall we? Yo, I'm in here at the Alabama Music Hall of Fame. I finally made it here. It's right here in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. So if you haven't been, I definitely recommend, if you're in the area, come check this place out. This is my first time myself, so I'm about to get busy. Let's do it. Now, the Alabama Music Hall of Fame has portraits and memorabilia of a lot of the Alabama natives who have made a large impact in the music industry in a multitude of categories. You got the Commodores right here. You got your boy Nat King Cole right over here. Vern Gosdin, Rick Hall, Sonny James, Martha Reeves. Oh man, there's so many of them. W.C. Handy, there you go right there. Sam Phillips, goes Lionel Richie. Erskine Hawkins, he from Alabama, Tuxedo Junction, Inslee, Birmingham. Wilson Pickett, Joe Frank, Dina Washington. There's just so many of them. The Louvin brothers, Clarence Carter, the band Alabama. Y'all remember them from Fort Payne. Them boys from Fort Payne, of course, they go to Temptations up in the upper left-hand corner. Eddie Floyd, Percy Sledge, Jim Neighbors, Jimmy Rogers, Cleveland Eaton. I mean, it's so many more. It's a lot. But check this out. We had Gary Baker, the Sheffield, Alabama native, 2020 inductee. Look, Hank Williams Jr., son of the legendary Hank Williams. There goes Lionel Richie. So I wonder what this is made out of. Is this made out of like marble or stone? I can't really tell. Paper mache? I don't know. But it looks nice nevertheless. There goes Alabama, the legendary country music band. They hail from Fort Payne. If you guys remember my Fort Payne vlog. Look at this. You have trinkets and memorabilia. This costume was worn by Jim Nabors during frequent appearances as a headliner in Las Vegas. He recorded 38 albums, included 5 gold and 1 platinum. See, a lot of these artists and, you know, people want to make me do my homework and listen to some of their music. William Levi Dawson, Williams singer, conductor, arranger, and composer, played for presidents, appeared on radio and television, and was an ambassador of culture for the U.S. and other countries. Okay. And there goes Nat King Cole, statue of him right here. Look at him at the piano doing his thing. Nat King Cole, we all know, he's a native of Montgomery. Nathaniel Adams Cole was the youngest son of a Baptist minister who followed his 3 brothers into the music profession. Okay, young Nat, able to play by ear, was an accomplished pianist by age 12. While still in high school, he established his first jazz band. In 1939, formed the King Cole Trio. They performed as an instrumental trio until a persistent customer coaxed Cole to sing. So, you know, he basically started off as just simply a jazz musician, but then he branched into singing. So, shout out to Nat King Cole. And there goes video, your boy Ruben Studdard. Ruben Studdard won American Idol. I can't remember what season it was, but that's him right there. He's from the 205, Birmingham. And there you go. There goes a jersey. It looks like a jersey of him. Big Ruben Studdard, 205. So he put on for Birmingham when he won American Idol. And you also had another contestant of American Idol. His name was Bo Bice. I don't know if you guys remember Bo Bice. You had Taylor Hicks right here. So yeah, Alabama had a lot of musicians who made it big. You got the little jukebox arch right here. This is really cool. I like how museum is designed. It's really, really dope. Look at all these songs right here. Born a Woman, Sandy Posey, Margaritaville, Jimmy Buffett, 3 Times a Lady, The Commodores, Broken Wings, Mr. Mister. I like Broken Wings. That's what Tupac, I think Tupac sampled that on his song Until the End of Time. Lionel Richie, Penny Lover, Sexy Eyes, Dr. Hook, Grip by the Commodores, Come Sail Away, Sticks, Stuck on You, Lionel Richie. There's a whole bunch of them, dope songs from Alabama natives. I think it's called, is this Kyrie or Kiri by Mr. Mister? I heard that song a couple of times on Pandora. Night Shift, The Commodores, Trucking, Grateful Dead, Impossible Dream, Jim Nabors. Okay. Sun Record Company. So you have the recording console right here that they use at Sun Records. Sun Records was a recording studio in Memphis, Tennessee. And check this out. They had the reel-to-reels right here. And Sun Records was also where the world-renowned Elvis Presley recorded. And Sam Phillips, one of the versatile innovators in the field of entertainment, changed the face of popular music in the late 40s and 50s when he brought together the diverse elements that created rock and roll. That's dope. That's dope. There goes Sam Phillips right there with Elvis Presley. I remember Elvis Presley. He's from Tupelo, Mississippi. I did a vlog out there. This guitar was used by Alton Delmore to teach students at his home in Huntsville following his retirement for performing. Okay, Alton Delmore, the Delmore brothers. I gotta do my research on them. It's a lot of musicians that came out of Alabama, you know, and did their thing. Jimmy Buffett. I know y'all know the Margaritaville restaurants. Well, this is the guy, Jimmy Buffett, right here. Real big in the country music scene. In 1980, he recorded Coconut Telegraph at Muscle Soul Sound Studio in Sheffield, which was produced by Alabama Music Hall of Fame inductee Norbert Putnam. Okay. Blind Boys of Alabama. That's them right there. Buddy Killen playing bass with Hank Williams. They go to Blind Boys of Alabama. So they had a unique sound. They harmonized, they did gospel music. So I gotta look up the Blind Boys of Alabama. I'm curious now. My music curiosity has really reached a high level. The guitar plays country music by Alabama artists. Okay. Hank Williams, Oak Ridge Boys, Alabama. Charles Strickland. Wow. I gotta freeze frame this so I can listen to some of these songs, because you know I love guitar riffs. There goes Hank Williams right here, statue of him. Got the hat, got the cowboy, got the hat on, the fedora or the cowboy hat, whatever you want to call it. You got the pinstripe suit. He's strumming that guitar. And at the age of 14, Hank Williams moved to Montgomery from Georgiana, Alabama, where he was born. He was dubbed the Singing Kid. Okay. This is Hank Williams Jr. Freddie Hart. His most successful song, Easy Lovin', won 2 Grammy Awards and was named CMA Song of the Year in 1971. And check this out right here. It looks like one of his costumes. That's a nice design right there. And got the Chief Indian right there. Vern Gosdin. Also big in the country music scene. I like that jacket right there. That's dope. That's really dope right there. Cowboy boots and all. Wow, look at this car right here. Solid gold country music car. Wow, check this out. So I guess this is driven by Webb Pierce, cross country. Dude, wow. Check this out. The door handles are shaped in the form of a revolver. Wow. That's crazy. That is crazy. And look at this interior. Look at the dashboard. Wow. Steering wheel. This interior is sick. I guess this is a Cadillac Bonneville. Wow, that's sick. That is sick. And here's Alabama, the country music band. They had their own tour bus. Wow. Oh, I can go on here. Oh, let me check this out. Okay. Wow. They had the little bunk beds. Okay. Here goes the guitar. Here goes the TV, the old school TV right here. There goes the receiver, Technics Sony. This is dope. They got the little sunroof right here. Alabama hip hop. We see you had DJ Chubb Fresh, G-Main, and B Cooper. They all from the Shoals area. And you got Slow Motion Sounds. They out of Huntsville. You got G-Side. They from Huntsville as well. I think I remember hearing about G-Side. You know, they one of the few big acts that made it out of Huntsville. Then you had Central and South Alabama. You had Rick Rock, who's from Montgomery. You had The Dirty, a group out of Montgomery, Alabama. And you had Deuce Comrades. And you had Clifford James. So all of them were from Montgomery. And you also have your boy Rich Boy. I remember Rich Boy. He came out when I was in high school. He's from Mobile. Okay, from Mobile, Alabama. You got Gucci Mane. Gucci Mane is from Bessemer, Alabama, but of course he represents the ATL. Clifford James, Ali Shabazz, Red Light District, Small Time Ballers, Kenny Thomas, Mr. Big out of Mobile, Birmingham J out of Birmingham, and Attitude. He was out of Brighton, Alabama, which is not far from Birmingham. And here comes some trinkets right here. You got the jacket straight off the Chain Records. Okay, Kenny Thomplis, aka Alabama Kenny. And this jacket was custom made for Slow Motion Sounds personnel. His jacket is on display courtesy of Cody Gopher of Fatal Smith. Wow. So this is the hip hop figures out of Alabama.
Outside, I was thinking bunker, I was in a bunker off of the old building and getting it ready to hang. And I was down there on the ground.
Got Eddie Floyd, suit run by Eddie Floyd. Wilson Pickett, and Jerry Wexler during a recording session at Fame Recording Studios in Muscle Shoals. There goes Clarence Carter. He was known for his soul and R&B music. And he wore the pink suit right here, as you can see. The Fender Stratocaster guitar. And here goes Erskine Hawkins. He played this trumpet at many of his performances. And again, like I mentioned earlier, he performed at the Tuxedo Junction in Birmingham. I remember one of the songs I ever heard by Clarence Carter was called Patches. That's pretty much the only song I've ever heard by him, but I want to listen to more music by him. You have Sun Ra right here. Sun Ra's from Birmingham. Intergalactic traveler, translator of myths, poet, composer, and visionary, and innovator in jazz. So I actually didn't hear about Sun Ra until my most recent visit to Birmingham. And I actually listened to his music. It's actually very innovative. Really, really dope brother. And here's just some plaques right here. You got Bill Street, you know, of course, St. Louis Blues, W.C. Handy, St. Louis Blues. There goes Martha Reeves. And there goes the stunning red dress that she wore on the cover of an album released in England. So Martha Reeves was born in Eufaula, Alabama, but she moved to Detroit at a young age. So she recorded with Martha and the Vandellas back during the Motown era. So I know y'all heard that song Heat Wave. I mean, I don't know. I've heard it one time, and that's actually one of, like I said, Motown is so old school, but a lot of their music still rings today. So it's W.C. Handy, of course. He was born near the banks of the Tennessee River in nearby Florence, Alabama. And we know this dude has like a ton of history as it pertains to the blues. That's him and his family back in 1954, as you can see. Bill Street Blues. And he actually had a song featuring Lena Horne and Benny Goodman and his orchestra. So, okay. Pearl Bailey. Wow. A lot of cool history over here. There goes the trumpet right here. I think he also had a feature with Louis Armstrong. Right there. Teddy Hill, Eddie Kendricks, who was raised in Birmingham. He was part of the Temptations as well. The Muscle Shoals horns. Okay.
Matt came in and his manager, who was Sandy Gallen, who was later to manage everybody, Barbra Streisand.
Muscle Shoals rhythm section. Fender guitar. This Fender guitar was owned by Jimmy Johnson. And you have Aretha, Lady Soul, the album cover. Barry Beckett's Hammond organ. Okay. So this was actually at the Muscle Soul Sound Studio. And as you can see right here, this is Barry Beckett and his I guess it's his band that was standing right there in the front of the Muscle Shoals studio. Okay. And here's the recording studio right here. Wishbone Recording Studio, established 1973. Widget Recording Studio, established 1969. Again, there goes another look of that Alabama tour bus. Yeah. Goes a dog right here. And here's a list of Alabama songwriters with hits in the top 40s representing Alabama. They're listed alphabetical order. So many of them.
So Matt said, I said, we're going to have your songs. So he said, I'll leave Matt down here and you and him work together. And he'll write us a hit song and you go ahead and cut him. And I said, well, fine, if he wants to stay with me. So Matt stayed down here, stayed 3 or 4 days. And we went to listen to a song we had.
Look at this drum right here. Heartland, Huntsville, Alabama, VBC Concert Hall, sold out, live in concert, March 17th, 2007. Shoals Sound Studios, established in 1969. Mark Normore and Josh Turner. Got a custom-made guitar, I see. They got a plaque too by the RIAA, the Recording Industry of Association of America. So it's just basically a bunch of awards. Guitar owned by Billy Sherrill. A lot of these musicians, quite frankly, I've never heard of, but this is a good frame of reference right here, so I can go check them out, listen to some of the music, because I'm a huge music fanatic, so this will be good. It starts with a song, absolutely. Absolutely. Curly Putman. He was not only a musician, but a fisher as well. You got a picture of a largemouth bass right here. And there goes his guitar. Clint Eastwood, Every Which Way But Loose. Carmel Taylor. Okay. And this is the gift shop right here. So all in all, all in all, overall, really nice museum. If you haven't checked this museum out, definitely come check it out. It's the Alabama Music Hall of Fame. With that in mind, I'm going to conclude this visit to the Alabama Music Hall of Fame. Take a couple shots of, take a couple pictures. Take a couple pictures, and that will be that. So stay tuned for more footage, because it's not over yet. There's another city in the Shoals. I'm in downtown Sheffield. Sheffield is located in the Florence, Muscle Shoals metro area, and it's known as the birthplace of country soul pioneer and songwriter Arthur Alexander, Willie Ruff, French horn player, and Fred Thompson, who was a former senator and presidential contender of the Watergate. So Sheffield is home to all of those individuals, and it has a population of 9,400 people. So it's slightly bigger than Tuscumbia, which is the county seat of Colbert County. And Sheffield is also located in Colbert County. So here I am. Like a little art gallery right here called Gray House Gallery. So I'm on the main drag downtown on Montgomery Avenue. You know, a coffee spot right over here, Groundhog Coffee Co. They have a public library, Sheffield Public Library. It's a nice building right here. This is the King Room in memory of Mary Louise and Howard King. This is the Sheffield Public House, and this Sheffield Pub looks like it's opening soon. But I like the balconies, the iron balconies right here. We have a courtyard over here with tables. So this, like, these tables are the outdoor seating areas. One of them for this pub right here. So I think this is like a church. It looks like it says the Rock event space. The Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer. Psalms 18:2. Okay. Goes one of them old school wicker basket chairs. I haven't seen one of those in ages. That's old school. Shoals Hair Company. Okay. That's like a hair salon right here downtown. This is a historical marker right here. giving the history of Sheffield. It's two sides to it. They have the prehistoric history. Prehistoric man arrived in this area about 10,000 years ago. Later, Indian cultures left many stone artifacts and pottery vessels. In the 1780s, a French trading post and Indian village were located near the mouth of Spring Creek. The town of York Bluff was laid out in 1820, and Andrew Jackson bought land for a plantation. A few houses and a store were built, but that town dwindled away in 1832. The first railroad in the state terminated at Tuscumbia Landing near Spring Creek. Large bands of Cherokees and Creeks left there on the Trail of Tears during the Forced Indian Removal Act in the 1830s. So Sheffield land was established after Walter Gordon purchased 2,700 acres of land and created the Sheffield Land, Iron and Coal Company to hold a land sale and build an industrial city. The city, named in honor of Sheffield, England, was incorporated in 1885 with Moses as mayor. 5 blast furnaces were erected on Furnace Hill and opened until 1926. So Sheffield, of course, being by the river and by railroad tracks, has an industrial past. And also worth mentioning about Sheffield is that in the 1940s, a Reynolds Metal Company, you know, the Reynolds that make the aluminum foil, they had its first aluminum smelting facility in Sheffield, paving the way for wartime expansion or aircraft production in the country. So Sheffield did play a part. Let me see, Sheffield became a railroad center with lines running in 4 directions, and the southern railroad shops provided many jobs. Electric streetcars connected Sheffield to Tuscumbia and Florence. In 1918, the U.S. Army built 2 big nitrate plants near the city and began construction of the Wilson Dam. President FDR, Franklin D. Roosevelt, visited these properties in 1933 and 1934. Then the Tennessee Valley Authority began using them for power production, fertilizer research, and production of munitions. Reynolds Metals produced aluminum for national defense 1941 through 1945. So that's what I mentioned earlier about the Reynolds aluminum foil. They played a huge part in manufacturing and building planes for the war during World War II. And in 1918, Village 1, a bell-shaped village, was built and part of the U.S. nitrate plant in number 1, and it was annexed in 1950. Local studios, including Muscle Shoals Sound at 3614 Jackson Highway, produced hit records by well-known artists during the 1960s and 1970s. So Sheffield, again, being that it's part of the Shoals area, it also has its own studio. So there's a studio in Muscle Shoals, there was a studio in Sheffield, and of course you had the Alabama Music Hall of Fame, which is located in Tuscumbia. So a lot of musical history right here in the Shoals area. We got a few restaurants over there across the street in that building. Nice little lion statues right here. It's a Mexican restaurant, Rio Grande Grill Cantina.
Which can lead to involuntary deal squeals, like the infamous deal on a new massager squeal.
Go over here real quick. An abandoned theater right here, the Ritz Theater. At least I think it may be abandoned. It looks abandoned. It might not be. Let me check it out. Let me see. Due to weather conditions, the Officer Yudi comedy show on September 27th has been canceled. Please check your email for rescheduling or refunds. Okay, so this place isn't abandoned after all. It's just extremely old. But this is the Ritz Theater, which looks to be like it's a staple right here in Sheffield. Fields Wing and Things. So a food truck right here. Fields Wings and Things. Okay, so they're located, looks like they're located in Florence, Alabama. But apparently they have a Facebook page, a Google page, and an Instagram page. Smoked wings, ribs, burgers, and more. Southern cooking. Okay. Phil's Wings and Things. Free promo. Can't beat that. Free promo courtesy of P9. And this right here is the Bob Love Courtyard, Sheffield, Alabama. Created in honor of Bob Love for a lifetime of unsurpassed dedication and devotion to the citizens of Sheffield, Alabama. Truly a humanitarian, Bob Love has created business and services throughout the Shoals area. An unselfish man, always there for the good and well-being of others. The city of Sheffield thanks Bob R. Love for his insight, support, and generosity. And his plaque was commemorated in 2004. So shout out to Bob Love. And check out this sculpture right here. This is dope. This is dope. And this is Wise Metal Group. I guess this is the group that put together this, is responsible for this particular sculpture. It looks like it's made out of metal. And it's purchased the local assets of Wise Metals Group. Began in 1999 when the parent company purchased the local assets and facilities of Reynolds Alloys Company, a subsidiary of Reynolds Metals Company. Okay. The Shoals began its long heritage as an aluminum manufacturing company with the construction of the Reynolds facility in April 1941. So again, this is just testament of Sheffield's history in the aluminum production. And the Singing River sculpture in Sheffield, Alabama, this sculpture is dedicated to the many individuals whose effort made Sheffield and the Muscle Shoals area the hit recording capital of the world, and to those who continue that legacy. So this is just a timeline, like a photo montage with some history of the Singing River, the Muscle Shoals Sound Studios, Broadway Sound Studios, and there was a garage studio which was the first in the Muscle Shoals area, and it was at the house of Dexter Johnson in his garage. And the original Swampers, Barry Beckett, Roger Hawkins, David Hood, and Jimmy Johnson at their 3614 Jackson Highway studio. So Sheffield had made major contributions to the area's music heritage and to the creation of the Muscle Shoals sound. So that was a huge part of the history of Northwest Alabama, particularly the Shoals area and its music. The area's first #1 record and first gold record, Percy Sledge's When a Man Loves a Woman. Okay, I didn't know that was Percy Sledge. When a Man Loves a Woman. Okay, cool. So Sheffield has a history of songwriting and Shoals music. So that's pretty dope. And it's a singing river sculpture again. And these are all the individuals who contributed to the construction and of this particular sculpture. So that's, again, it's really dope right there. Really nice. City of Sheffield, Alabama. This was sculpted in 2012 by the mayor, Ian Sanford. And here we go. And with that in mind, good people, this concludes the Shoals walking vlog. I'm gonna get my vlog individually in Florence, so stay tuned for that. But until then, guys, thanks for watching. And if you like this video, please hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and also the notification bell. That way you can get a notification on your mobile device or whatever device you want to look at me on. You know what I'm saying? So that being said, guys, thanks again for watching, and stay tuned for the next. Peace. Have a great day.